Some people have a hard time admitting that Nick Fuentes is a racist, despite the fact that he loves Hitler and yada, 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 all the racist things that he says all the time. But do you think they'll have a problem admitting that he's a cheat? And I ask this not for no reason, but because the most damning report has just come out about this guy and about his social media presence. You see, you're probably not alone if up until a few months ago you never heard of the guy. He's this like young dude who sits on Rumble all day and rumbles about anti-Semitism, not anti-Semitism. He rambles anti-Semitic things and against women and blah, blah, blah. And the Groypers is a group of these weirdos. And he was a prolific anti-Semite and has been for many, many, many years. However, he was just kind of like irrelevant to most of us. None of us had really heard of him. Until recently, it seems like he's just popped into the stratosphere. He's like the number one person, and he's everywhere, and he's, super supported, and has these groups of millions of Groypers following him and liking everything that he does, and super spreading it, and super commenting, and it almost felt impossible. It almost felt manufactured. It almost felt like cheating. And that's exactly what it is, because the NCRI has just come out in the most damning report about this guy. But first, are you following the channel? Have you hit the follow button? Subscribe if you want to just become a member. We will greatly appreciate that. Join our movement. You will not regret it. Let's read what the NCRI has to say. Okay. How Fuentes coordinated raids and foreign fake speeches to inflate his influence. Okay, the idea of this article is that they basically looked into it to try and understand his numbers, and oh my goodness, it is nuts. Nick Fuentes' surge into national visibility did not originate from a broad or sudden shift in American political sentiment. It emerged from a pattern of online amplification that was unusually fast, unusually concentrated, and unusually foreign in origin. This report examines the structure of that amplification and the signals it produced inside the information environment, and the way mainstream legacy institutions interpreted those signals as indicators of emerging relevance. If you don't know what I just said, basically, it seemed like Nick Fuentes was an indicator to what was really going on in the political right, that everybody hates women and everybody's anti-Semitic and everyone's anti-blacks, etc. But actually, if you were to look at the patterns of how the internet works, which is what NCRI do, it's very quickly obvious that something here was a little bit off. The goal is not to explain Fuentes' ideology or his existing audience, but to assess how synthetic engagement, real-world events, and media incentives converge to elevate a fringe figure into central subject of national attention. And here's the way that it happened. Algorithmic amplification far exceeds legitimate reach. Fuentes received dramatically higher early retweet velocity than any comparator, including Elon Musk. Within the critical first 30 minutes, Fuentes routinely outperformed accounts with 10 to 100 times more followers, which basically means he would tweet something and there's a group of people sitting ready to amplify his content. Because as we know, the algorithms respond to how the video starts or the tweet starts in the first 30 minutes. Okay? Early engagement is dominated by repeat actors. In a sample of 20 recent posts, 61 of Fuentes' first 30-minute retweets came from accounts that retweeted multiple of these 20 posts within the same ultra short window. Meaning, there are 20 accounts, there are 100 accounts, whatever, that are intentionally focused only on retweeting Fuentes so that it looks to the system like it's really growing. Anyway, the amplification network is overwhelmingly anonymous and ideologically dedicated. Most of these accounts have no face. Foreign origin amplification dominated Fuentes' viral posts. In the months before Charlie Kirk's death, roughly half of the retweets on Fuentes' most viral posts came from foreign accounts, heavily concentrated in India, Pakistan, Nigeria, Malaysia, and Indonesia. And guys, the fact that Nick Fuentes is using Nigerians and people from Pakistan to promote his content, a bit uncomfortable. Mainstream media reinforcement. Since September 2025, mainstream media coverage increased more than threefold, and high status descriptions of Fuentes increased by 59.6. Okay? Fuentes himself is involved in coordination. His manipulated reach is not accidental. Show transcripts from 2021 to 2025 document him repeatedly instructing followers to retweet this and retweet me immediately after he posts, directly aligning with the raid-like early engagement spikes our data reveal. Okay, so those are the findings. And in this data report, which is highly, highly extensive, and we won't read through the whole thing, but we basically got him appearing on Putin-aligned Russian Today, arguing that the rest is Russia-phobic for its support of Ukraine. Fuentes praises or defends other U.S. adversaries. This guy is not a good guy, okay? He is not a good guy. And the statistics on here are so interesting. We've got Fuentes gets vastly more retweets in the first 30 minutes than similar accounts and gets even more than Elon Musk. That's a little nuts. This is Elon Musk. Okay, and this is Nick Fuentes. Do you see the difference? By the way, this is Destiny. This is Ian Carroll, who has more followers than Nick Fuentes. Okay, he has more followers. Elon Musk repeatedly gets a lot less, and look at how many he gets. Fuentes' retweets in the first 30 minutes are radically disproportionate to his number of followers, right? Oh, this is just nuts. How many come from repeat early retweeters, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, they've done a very good job. This is an amazing report. I'll try and link it below, but it's going super, super viral on X right now, and I love it. I just love it when we expose the truth of who these people are. And I think it's important for people to realize when you see accounts from Nigeria, Pakistan, Indonesia, etc., coming after a certain person and trying to amplify them, it's because their message is something that the people who hate us and hate American values want to amplify. Very simply. These people gain from somebody who is as passionate, I would say, as Nick Fuentes, but as divisive as he is, from him seeming like the mainstream. Right? If you look at Nick Fuentes and you see that he's everywhere and he's being retweeted all the time and he's the number one person on your feed and everyone's talking about him, then you start to believe that Nick Fuentes' belief system is just mainstream and normal. Why wouldn't you? You're seeing it everywhere you look, except for the fact that it's part of a coordinated plan to amplify his content. To make it seem that way, because then you lose morale. We lose morale. We see somebody like Nick Fuentes and we say to ourselves, oh my goodness, all of America hates us, except for the fact that it's not all America. It's Nigerian bots. And guess what? We don't really care what the Nigerians think about us, do we? No, we don't care about Nigeria very much. That's the kind of simple truth, which is that these people are being amplified online and cheating to be perceived as so much bigger and more capable than they actually are. Do you remember when Andrew Tate just jumped into the stratosphere? Again, I can't say that this is what he was doing, but it seems likely that he had some sort of behind the scenes campaign to just make him go from being a niche somebody to the somebody that everybody's talking about. And that's what Nick Fuentes is doing. And NCRI are people who are experts in trying to figure out digital media patterns. They're, I think, the leading think tank on this topic. And it's so, so, so important that this kind of stuff gets exposed, because the more this goes viral, that Nick Fuentes is using bots to amplify his reach, which, by the way, I think is his prerogative. He's allowed to do. Elon Musk should do something about it, but he can do that. I think the more people realize, oh, wait a second, so he is fringe. He is fringe, and that's really important for everybody to realize the online world that we're evolved in and absorbed in is so different to the real world. Like, people in real life are kind of normal and happy and easy to be around, and the people online are horrible and miserable. And you have the Nick Fuenteses who are unbelievably confident. He just did this insane interview with Piers Morgan that we will definitely review, have no fear. But he's so confident in his, like, I love Hitler, I love Stalin, yada, 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 yada. And at the end of the day, he presents himself as being the next Charlie Kirk, the mainstream voice for these young people, and he's not. It's fake. It's fake, but there's danger in that fakeness because it makes people really believe that it's true. So if you're on the fence about being a group because you aren't sure, but you see that hundreds of thousands of people are, then maybe you jump into it. And if you're somebody who's feeling sensitive about everything that's going on in the world and you're going online and you're seeing his success, your fear is going to be intensified a lot. You're going to believe that Nick Fuentes is a much bigger phenomena than it really truly is. So that's our message for today. Nick Fuentes is a cheat. He's a Hitler-loving fake. He's probably gay based on the evidence that I've seen. I don't want to say it's a slur, but it's definitely not aligned with a persona that he tries to present of being this, very conservative man who hates women, weird, and who hates blacks and who definitely hates Jews despite the fact that he pretends that he likes us. He is one of those people who is an antagonizer. He is niche and he is fringe, and the groupers are fringe, and it is not normal, and they have to go out there and use some sort of amplification system to grow it. Now, I just want to know who is behind this. Who is the person who thought this out? Is it Qatar? Who is funding Nick Fuentes' unbelievable ability to dominate? And I'm so grateful to say that it's gone so viral. This NCRI report is viral. Brilliant job on their behalf. Such a good expose. So important for people to recognize what's really going on. Thank you for your attention to this matter.